Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So the reason that I invite you here to satsang is that because here there's the possibility of you tasting yourself, of you knowing you are free. Are you aware? You don't know you are aware? Progress is an idea. I didn't ask you what your path is. I said, are you aware? Here, right now. If you don't search for anything, are you aware? Yes. When this awareness of one's existence is stable, clear, it can be constant. The question is, do you believe it needs to be constant? You see, if you believe it needs to be constant, then it is dependent upon you. It is dependent upon some method. It is dependent upon a path. It's dependent upon an understanding of some sort, isn't it? Or it's dependent on an experience.
No, not on experience.
But you see, it's not, yeah. You know intuitionally. If I point this out to you, then you know intuitionally, no, it's not dependent on that. This awareness, which is called the self, that which knows I am or I exist, is not dependent on anything. So it's not dependent on being constant. It simply is. So you said, can it be constant? Yes. So the question then becomes, how does it become constant? But you know, I don't invite you here to teach you a method. I don't give you practices.
I only want practice. Presence.
I point you to presence. Yes.
That's why I'm here. To enjoy the presence with you.
Yes.
I really appreciate this opportunity.
The very first recognition, and really the only recognition that's ever offered to you, is this presence, that which you are. And this presence is not dependent upon a method, a technique, a philosophy, an understanding, a path. So here, as I'm fond of saying, I have nothing to give you. I simply point you toward this question. Are you aware? Once this recognition, which comes very quickly and comes very easily, Yes, I am here. Yes, I exist. Yes, I am aware, however that comes for you. Once this recognition is here, I'm not going to give you a method or a technique. I'm going to suggest to you that you stay here. Can you do it? Maybe. So then the question might rise, how can I stay here? This again is not a method or a technique, but there is an answer to that question. How? Having had the experience of presence, which you are having now, correct? You are present. Is there anyone who doesn't know they're present? Everyone knows they're present. Now go deeper than that. You know you're here present in this nowness of this moment, but go deeper than that. Can you feel the presence which is behind this present moment awareness that you are here? That you don't even need an object of any kind, that you are not a subject looking for an object. That which is here, which is not a subject, not an I, not a me, not a mine, and is not looking for an object, not a this, that, or a method, is presence. This presence is here. You can feel it. It's not far away. Sri Ramana Maharshi said it's closer than your breath. So close that we don't see it often. We step right over it. Because we are fascinated with objects, and we are fascinated with this duality, that there is a subject me and an object you. We are fascinated with that through our conditioning. And so we step right over this presence. But having understood, and more than understood, having experienced in this moment, this presence which you are, knowing that you exist, not you as a personality, but that awareness exists here now as this presence, then the how is, if you slip away from that, come back. Not through a method or a technique, through the remembrance that you exist, that you are here, that this awareness is here now. The simplicity of this will be frustrating for some of you. Is it true? But understand that this challenge is just a consequence of conditioning. It's a consequence of this belief over many years or many lifetimes that there is a subject, me, and an object. So when it appears that something is coming and interfering with this recognition of presence, understand what the nature of that is. It's the belief that there is a subject, me, and an object, and that is interesting. More interesting than your very own presence. Not your presence as a whatever your story is, whatever your career is, whatever your gender is, whatever your path is, whatever your spirituality is, whatever your religion is, whatever your country is. All those identifiers have nothing to do with this presence. Notice this presence and recognize that it depends on nothing. It simply is. I am. You know this presence. I exist. You know it at every moment, whether or not the mind is conscious of it. Whatever you are seeing as an object in the mind depends upon presence. Without presence, nothing is known. You know this from your own direct perception. Without the sense of presence or I am, you are in deep sleep. In deep sleep, no matter whether you are healthy or unhealthy, whether you are rich or poor, whether you are happy or sad, whether you are in relationship or not in relationship, makes no difference. It's not important. It's so not important that you crave going to sleep at night. Why? Because there's a natural and inherent tendency toward liberation. So, this is why Sri Ramana Maharshi said, remain asleep while you are awake. What he was pointing to is come to this recognition of presence and now have no interest in what rises and falls. Some of you are going to say right away, I can hear already, this is a very boring life. I have no interest and no passion. This is going to be a very boring life. But some of you are laughing, so you know intuitionally that this isn't true. When you are free, when every single opportunity for you to get attached to something or to get caught by something self-liberates through presence, okay? When presence does not attach to what comes and goes, whatever comes and goes self-liberates, meaning this me that you think you are, that's following a path, that's following a method, and so on, doesn't need to do anything. When awareness is here, stable as being, consciousness, or the self, everything that rises like a bubble on a stream. And at a certain moment, that bubble bursts of its own, from its own tension, from its own experience. It bursts and it is gone. When you are here as self-liberating awareness, there is a simple recognition, perhaps, that something is coming and something has gone. But there's no attachment to it. There can be an enjoyment of it. In fact, some of you already know, the less attachment you have to anything which is rising in the body, mind, or world, the more pleasurable it is. Isn't it true? When you have no attachment to anything and you are simply here, you are nothing but enjoyment. This is why it's also said in the scriptures that for the sages, there is only enjoyment. It's not because there aren't things going on in the environment, or there aren't things going on in the body, there aren't sensations, there isn't the occasional thought coming and going. It's because there's no attachment to them. They're allowed to come. They're seen to be the bubbles on the stream of awareness. Now, what comes, comes, and what goes, goes. And there's simply this recognition of self-awareness, which is observing, enjoying, sometimes playing, sometimes ignoring whatever is coming and going. So the how is not really a how, but it can be summed up in a word, and that word is remembrance. Remembrance of presence. The reason I use the word remembrance is because remembrance doesn't imply a process, a method, a technique. Remembrance is that quick. Remembrance, presence. Or the question, I am aware, or am I aware rather? Am I aware? Yes. As soon as this yes comes, presence is here. So now, when there's a recognition that this is the path, if you will, if you need a path, that this is the way to liberation. It's not a long path. It's a remembrance. It's a remembering what is here now. And the willingness to let go of what is carrying you away through thought, through feeling, through emotion, through thinking, through experience. As soon as there's a firm commitment, if you will, to this simple remembrance, the foundation of presence starts to get solid. So this is the how. But remember, it's very quick. Your mind, such as it is, may tell you, oh, I was lost again, or oh, I was distracted again, or oh, I was away from the self again. This is another play in mind. If you emphasize that, then you will keep seeing when something drifts through the mind and there's a minor or major attachment to it, and it goes away, you will say, oh, I was distracted again. Oh, I was not the self. Oh, I was not aware. When the emphasis of that moment is, I am aware. But you don't notice it because your storyline about yourself is, I don't get it. I get pulled away. I don't understand. I keep slipping away. I don't remain firm. This is all nonsense. The moment in which you realize that, you are here. You are aware. You are presence. Don't turn back toward the object. Don't even turn toward the subject. Simply sink into presence. This is what you already are. You are already here. Even if there's a belief, gross or subtle, that you were not here a moment ago, in this moment, you are here. I like to use this analogy. The conditioned mind likes to string together like a string of pearls all of the things that you are failing at, that you are not good at, that you have not succeeded at, all the seeking you are doing. These are all pearls that the mind the identified mind likes to string on a string. Why? Because it wants control. It wants dominance. It wants to tell you what you are and what you are not. But every time you come to presence and allow that to be enough, I'm here, simply here, without definition, simply here as awareness. I am here. If you know this, this is a pearl. So every time you come back, acknowledge presence is here. That which is aware is here now. String a pearl, string a pearl, string a pearl. In the same form, the same way that you have conditioned yourself to believe what you are not. Now, come to know what you are and acknowledge that. I am here. I'm aware. That which is aware is here now. And each time you do that, this string of pearls gets longer, and eventually you can put it, I should say Rudraksha beads, you can put it on your own, over your own head. You are succeeding at being yourself more often than you realize.
One of my friends actually made this a practice. I think it's also written in some of the scriptures in the Parayana, to emphasis on that, what you are, and remember that and repeat that. And of course, when you know your friend, you see things where it's like, coming out of conditioning or pattern of, and then it feels such how to say, like a charade almost, when he's like putting emphasis on what he is, coming from that point of view, like the pearl or the self or pure awareness.
Yeah.
And then it feels like you're so bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do read this in the Parayana.
Yes.
And I do have that experience of like, okay. And I guess it confuses me.
So when we talk about this recognition of presence and this simple remembrance of presence, it's kind of, we can say the first step is to come to presence. The second step is to come to the recognition that one has returned, which is what we were just talking about, the stringing of pearls. The third piece, you can say, of this as a process is to hear that mind, not within our friend, within ourselves, that says, this is bullshit. You are deluding yourself. You are not the self. You are this conditioning. Yes, conditioning comes up. Your task, if you will, again, I'm not trying to give you a method, but your task at that moment, if you will, whether it's for you or with when you're watching your friend go through this kind of back and forth, because is there anyone in this room who has not had this experience of knowing who you are for a moment, especially if someone points it out like we are doing right now, and then falling back into the personality, falling back into the conditioning, falling back into the habit patterns? Is there anyone here who's not had that? Of course not, because if you have had that experience, you are not here. You're still looking for that experience. So the third piece of this remembrance is not the mental remembrance, that which is aware is here now. The third piece is the actual deep recognition that awareness is here and is resting here as this, even when what the awareness might be aware of is this story in the mind saying you're bullshitting yourself. Okay, this is not taking some Pollyannish approach. This is actually looking very deep, resting very deeply in this presence and feeling in that presence the power of self-liberation, which is liberating us in that moment through awareness, not through doing, through being, which is liberating us in that moment from these false beliefs, these false ideas, to come to awareness, which is naked, aware, empty, you can say, pristine, and to have faith in that is to know that eventually this is going to stop, because this awareness is here. It's not in duality. It's not in that sense of opposites that's going on in the mind or going on in the experience. In this presence, there's no such thing as duality. There's only this. So, first we come to presence as a remembrance, and then we become committed to coming to that presence because of the liberation we feel in that moment. Are you aware? Yes. In that moment of recognition, you feel a sense of liberation, whether you can grab it and hold on to it or stay in it or not. As soon as you say to yourself, or you ask yourself, am I aware? Yes. You have turned away from all of that distraction and come into the only thing you know for sure, which is that you are here, that awareness is here, that consciousness is here, that the self is present. Even if you only know it for that long, you have liberated yourself. Awareness has liberated you from whatever it was you were paying attention to as a subject looking at an object. That duality is gone, isn't it? Are you aware? Notice, look, are you aware? There is no duality in that. Am I aware? Yes. That duality is gone. So whether we're seeing that duality in oneself, in terms of ideas, thoughts, emotions, experiences, or in another, in a friend, a partner, whoever, however that dance is going on, as soon as we realize that which is aware is here now, that I am sitting now in the center of this presence is here, then we have to know repeatedly that this presence is the truth, not whatever the mind says about it, whether it's about me-ness or it's about an other.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's also what you're saying, like rather than the mind having its focus on, oh, I'm out of it again, I have to focus on that. He really emphasizes, like what you could say, like I'm pure soul, I'm pure presence, and he has that.
Yes, but it needs to go deeper than just that statement, right? I mean, I'm really asking you, or, we can't do this for someone else. So when we watch someone else around us that's doing the dance, we just have to let that be what it is.
Exactly.
We cannot we're not going to fix anybody. We're not going to correct anybody.
Yeah, my question is because this is also like written in the Parayan as a way of a how.
It is written as a how, and it's written in a how in a lot of different spiritual traditions and practices. But the kicker is it happening here? Huh? I am that, 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 I am that. Or is it happening here?
Yeah, because for me it feels like if you are already that, why do you need to put the emphasis on it?
You don't.
Exactly. Bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say there's nothing I'm offering you here. I'm not giving you a method. I'm simply reminding you what you already know. What you already know is I am. That's it. And this I am is felt as presence. That's not a method. It's what's true.
Yeah, nor does it need to be claimed or expressed or,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
How do we know we have slipped away?
Can you say that again?
How do we know we have slipped away?
We don't know we've slipped away. We only know we only know when we have come back.
Exactly. So, since the last meeting I had with you, I don't know.
Very good.
And it's a bit strange.
In what way?
I don't know. A few things have been absurd. Like, yeah, just the experience. So I don't know how to report this. Language fails. But yeah, it's been absurd.
It's been absurd. Yeah. Huh? Is that what you said? It's been absurd?
Yeah.
Yes, it's all absurd. So don't take any of it up.
Yeah, and I was at Ganga Ma's Satsang yesterday, and to some point I was really focused on her words, and then she sang, and then I was on a flight. I don't know where I went for an hour, maybe more, and it touches me in I don't know if beautiful is the word to be used, but yes, something like that. So I don't know.
Enjoy.
Just wanted to report this.
Very good. Thank you. Just enjoy.
Yeah, it's been... And I've felt absurdity for many years. And now I kind of recognize the sense of absurdity of all of it and of nothing at the same time.
Yes.
It's
So leave all the concepts alone now and just be this joy. This is my invitation to you.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
Nothing. Just laugh.
It feels I feel like a child most time, and lots of things happen in a day yesterday, which was very different from all other days I had, and nothing touched. It felt like I had an oil bath with you. Everything slipped away, and I was like, I never know when I slip away, so I'm going to leave this whole idea of wanting it to be there also.
Yes.
And when that slipped away, especially last night, I slept different. Woke up at 4 and I'm like, ooh.
Very good.
So I know gratitude is a very small word. Yeah. I'm still on the free fall.
But you are here.
Yeah, and it's absolutely here.
So
I got a tattoo here and now.
I got a tattoo here. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. You're wonderful. You're just amazing. Thank you. That's it.
Yes. Someone else?
I'm a bit confused about this whole experiencing awareness without subject-object, because I notice my awareness when I perceive something.
Yes, awareness of something.
Yeah, that's how I know. When you say, am I aware? That's how I know it.
Correct.
How do I experience awareness without that?
So, stop the conceptual mind right now. Can you do that?
What do you mean?
Stop the conceptual mind. You just asked a question, so that's a series of concepts.
Totally.
Can you just drop that now?
You mean drop the question?
No, just drop everything and just be here with me. Don't think anything.
Okay.
Does that help? Don't think anything. Just be here. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a concept present right now?
Well, when you ask that question, then I go into my mind.
And what do you see? When I ask that question.
All right. Okay. I see you. I'm perceiving you asking that question.
Yes.
Okay. So
go before that. Come before that.
Well, before that,
before the perception.
Before you ask the question, I was just perceiving your face. I was looking.
Go before that perception of my face.
Go before the perception of your face. I don't know how to go there, I guess. Because when you asked me not to be concept or not to be in the mind, I was just looking without trying to make sense of what I was looking at, I guess. So I was just...
Go before this conversation.
I don't know where that is. Like, that's my question, I guess. How do I go there? Like, where do I go?
Drop that question.
Okay.
Do you need to know a question? Do you need to have a question in the mind to know that you exist in this moment?
See, when you ask that question, I feel like I'm going to my mind to answer it. Do you not want me to go there?
I'm not asking you to answer the question.
Oh, you don't want me to answer it?
I'm asking you to do the question.
Okay. So can you repeat the doing of the question?
Do you know that you exist right now?
Do I know I exist? I think I exist. I perceive I exist.
Yes, that's the difficulty you're having, is that you think you exist because you think.
Okay.
I think I exist.
Well, it's more likely than not, is how I describe it. But in terms of, like knowing if we're here.
Who is the thinker?
Who is the thinker?
Point this one out to me. Who is the thinker?
Well, it's something going on in my head. It's the thinking process.
What's before that?
Well, that's where I'm trying to get to. I don't know how to go to that place.
You're not looking. When I say to you, what's before that, rather than looking to see what's before that, you snap back out here and try to get engaged in a dialogue.
Got it. Okay.
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 That shows me that you think you are the thinker. You think that your existence depends upon thinking. And I'm asking you, what is before that thought? I've asked this now 3 times of you, and here's something interesting. Each time that I've asked you, just momentarily, you have gone, and then I can see you get startled by that.
Well, I think I'm meant to get...
By that introverting. No, there's no answer to any of these questions.
Okay.
So we can free your mind from the need to answer the question.
Got it.
Okay. So what is before that? How long can you last without the urge to answer that question? Did the urge to answer that question cause you to open your eyes again, to look over here to see what was happening? Or to see if I was waiting?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Was I meant to stay in that state for indefinitely?
You're not meant to do anything.
Right.
We're just pointing here.
Totally.
My suggestion to you, however, is to keep coming to this recognition through the question. You can say, am I aware? What do you say now? If you ask the question of yourself, am I aware?
Am I going to answer that question?
Go ahead.
I can't tell if you want a dialogue or not.
You're looking too much outward. I'm trying to get you to look inward.
Totally. Yeah.
If you are really willing to surrender to any question I ask you,
I am totally.
Which is pointing you inward,
okay,
you will fall inward.
Uh-huh.
So notice that there is this habit, this conditioned habit. When you are asked a question, even in this satsang environment, your tendency is to want to flow out into an answer. That's conditioning. That is not who you are. So again, are you aware?
I have awareness internally of...
Very good. That's progress.
Okay. Thank you.
So now you have awareness internally. In order to have awareness internally, there still needs to be an I which knows it has awareness internally. Drop this I.
How do you do that? If my awareness is the one perceiving what's going on internally.
That's what I'm trying to get you to see, is that your awareness is the one that is perceiving, and this is not an I. This is not a me.
Okay. So it's not my awareness seeing it,
it's
perceiving
not
myself.
Very good. It's not my awareness. Correct. Do you see that?
I don't see that it's not mine, because it feels like it's me going inside. Like when you ask me to go inside myself,
yes.
It's me putting my awareness there.
Yes, until I say, drop the I.
Okay.
Drop that observer or that position.
Okay. And it feels like a big ocean.
Yes. It's an ocean of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
This I that you feel is a tiny bubble on this vast ocean of awareness. As soon as you're willing, you can let that bubble pop and rest and sink deeply as this ocean of awareness.
Okay. Thank you.
And even now, your eyes are open. You can perceive the objects around you. Do you know you are this ocean of awareness now?
I've had the experience of it.
Are you having it now?
When you ask me questions, that's when I go here.
If I ask you a question, that's your habit to go here.
Totally, yeah.
Take it here.
Okay.
Take it in the center of being. Take it into the ocean of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Answer from that place.
What was the question?
Ah, very good. Just be aware.
Okay.
No question, no answer.
Okay.
Just be aware. Are you here? Do you know you are here?
I guess the answer that comes to mind is I'm somewhere.
Yeah, keep going. Just keep this recognition. Awareness is here now.
Awareness is
This
here
is the
now.
most direct way. Sit, stand, whatever you feel, in the awareness that awareness is here now.
Okay.
Just in this one remembrance. You see, we are using a tool here, but it's a very simple and very open tool. It's a tool that says that which is aware is here now. And identifies with nothing but that awareness. So the objects are allowed to come and go. The thoughts are allowed to come and go. The questions are allowed to come and go. The need to answer the questions is allowed to come and go. But in the silence of being, nothing really needs to be answered. It can be, but nothing really needs to be answered. Because there's this deep recognition of that ocean of awareness, which is your true nature. In that ocean of awareness, you are simply here. Not you as a body, although that's going to go on for a while because you're very, very conditioned at this moment. You have been very conditioned in the past to perceive, to accept, to experience through the mind that one moment of saying, it's a vast ocean. That one moment of recognition could be enough to overcome all of that conditioning. But if it's not, every time those mental perceptions come up, that thinking comes up, question, who is this thinker? And come back, turn back toward this ocean which you've now experienced. You are that which is aware. Everything beyond that perception is a fiction. You are making it up as you go along. The question for you is, do you want to keep making up as you go along, or would you rather just be here? As being consciousness. For you, this is the very beginning of this third step, which I just pointed to a few minutes ago. And that is this willingness to see that there is no more interest in all of these mental conceptions and living out of them. That is wearing itself out. Not even you are doing something. The reason I can say it's wearing itself out is because you are here. So even though you still have this complex and strong mind or mental ability, you're sitting in this room. That is wearing out. The question is, are you willing to let it wear out?
Yeah, it's worn out. I can't function in the world in that approach anymore.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. So now, understand that you are coming upon this third step, you can say. Presence is here first. Commitment to coming back to presence when something has called us away, when perception or thinking has called us away, and the strong recognition that this recognition, this awareness which I am, can be my constant state here now, that I have faith that that awareness which is liberating everything has brought this body mind here in order to hear this. And now to begin that process, if you will, of every time you fall back into that conditioned habit, come back to presence, come back to the foundation of this is what I want. So there's a commitment. I want freedom, not thinking, not conceptualizing, not extending myself into the world as a concept, as a me. That's what I mean by extending myself into the world as a me. And I have a strong faith in the teaching, in Arunachala, in Sri Ramana, whatever helps to support that. But understand it for you, it is the understanding, the deep recognition that in this lifetime, liberation is possible for you, and that you are here for that. And that because you are here, and because you can hear this, and because you are interested, it's inevitable. But not through thinking, through being. Return to the ocean over and over. Freedom is assured. It's already true of you. It's only the mind that doesn't believe it. So we work with that mind now.
Rishiji, just like to share on Sunday evening during the Zoom satsang, something happened, and after that, there was very little disturbance in the mind. And a few days after that, some good feeling also got associated with that.
Very good. You see, in terms of satsang, this is very much success, because what we are always doing is we are pointing toward our inherent and already present happiness. So when someone comes and says, this experience happened, and this happened, and then something dissolved, and then there was this, and then there was that, and then afterwards, someday or some days later, there is this feeling of enjoyment, this feeling of happiness, this feeling of contentment. We're not talking about happiness that we go out and dance in the street. We're talking about a kind of happiness which is very much here, very much present in this moment, and which is there regardless of what's going on in the field of observation. And this happiness is your nature. So whenever we have this opportunity to feel this, we say, yes, yes, this is it, yes. Many people coming into spiritual life are, and I was one for sure, definitely are looking for experiences and bliss states and all of this. And of course, this does happen, but then they are shattered when they dissolve and when they don't last. So what we are really pointing toward here is a more stable recognition of the happiness which rests and lives within you, which you are, you can say. And so this is a very kind of ordinary happiness, isn't it? It's not a happiness of living in a bliss state on the top of a mountain. It's the ordinary happiness of knowing simply that you are here, that you are aware, that your heart is here beating as love itself, and that you have no conflict and no argument with whatever is coming and going on the surface level of the mind, that in the deepest possible way, you know that you are happy. When you know this, then it can be said that you know who you are. I wish that for all of you. Here, now. All right, that's probably enough for today. Hari Om Tat Sat.